person died before entering the water. Feds have ruled out foul play, nothing suspicious here, but then they can't determine how the women died. I mean, that looks pretty sus to me. Not only that, you can't even back up the no third party narrative. You can't generate AI images of someone without having images of them. So where are their images? All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back again, and I hope every single one of you are doing well. As you can hear, I'm still living with a sore throat. We're getting there. We're slowly but surely getting there. We're back again because I want to talk about the three sisters, Christina, Jane, and Rebecca, that were found dead on Brighton Beach just over 2 weeks ago. I have to say, there are no new updates at this moment in time, but there are a few things that I want to bring to your attention that stem from the inquest. I haven't truly gone into depth about what actually happened at the inquest. We went into that inquest with multiple red flags, and we left that inquest with more red flags. Now, honestly, I don't want to recap at this point. If you aren't familiar with this story, then please go and watch the few videos that we have done over the past week or so to kind of bring yourself up to speed. At this point, I want to talk about a few of the red flags that were at the inquest, but also, why is it that the media are always spreading misinformation? Don't worry, we're going to get there, ladies and gentlemen. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if we are newly watching. Now, the first red flag for me is the conclusion that they come to at the inquest. Cause of death was unclear. It was yet to be ascertained. Now, what's so funny is I knew that word, ascertained. I don't know why I was saying ascertained, and I didn't even realize when I was editing that video. Like, what the hell was I reading? The cause of death is yet to be determined. Doesn't make any sense to me. How, after 2 weeks, have you done an autopsy and you can't determine what the cause of death is? As far as we're aware, as far as we're being told, and for what it looks like at this moment in time, it looks like these three women drowned, right? 2 of them were found in water, 1 of them was found on the beach. All 3 of them pronounced dead at the scene. However, these guys have done an autopsy, and through that autopsy, they wasn't able to determine the cause of death. Now, after doing my research on cases where people have been found in bodies of water, the autopsy usually instantaneously tells the pathologist that this person died via drowning. After doing my research and having a look into this further, ladies and gentlemen, the only reason why a pathologist would come to the conclusion that they come to on that day, cause of death is yet to be ascertained, it usually means there was a complication in being able to make that determination. It mean a variety of different things, but the list of things it could mean, ladies and gentlemen, there's only one that stands out to me. The one that stands out to me is the person died before entering the water. And that right there could be the reason as to why they wasn't able to determine what the cause of death was, because it wasn't drowning that killed them. That's all alleged, ladies and gentlemen, at this point. That's just me theorizing based on the fact that they haven't been able to determine what the cause of death is in the first inquest. Make that make sense? If this was just 3 women from London walking along the beach, having a bit of fun, 1 of them falls in, the other 2 try and help, and they all fall in, and they all accidentally drown, they would be able to make that determination within 2 weeks of the investigation. Would also have the 3 women on CCTV at the beach. It's funny because people have mentioned online that no one has a right to see the CCTV. The feds have seen it, the feds have seen it, the feds have seen it, and that's all that matters. I'm like, rah. Like, who believes the feds? The feds are meant to be serving and protecting us. So when there's a concern, they need to reassure us by providing us the evidence to say that this is actually what happened. They haven't done that whatsoever with this case. It's been strung into an inquest immediately and then adjourns to October the 8th. See, I'm sure you guys remember when we were covering the Eliza and the Henrietta Hutsey case, the twins from Scotland that mysteriously vanished, and then their bodies were found in water. What did the feds do after they proved the bodies had been found in the water? They didn't instantly write it off as no third-party involvement. No. They done their due diligence. And one of their due diligence was researching the CCTV in that location and revealing that CCTV to the public. Why has it been 2.5 weeks and we haven't seen nothing in regards to those girls being on Brighton Beach, one of the most popular beaches in the UK? But see now, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we have the contradiction. Because the feds have ruled out foul play, nothing suspicious here, but then they can't determine how the women died. I mean, that looks pretty sus to me. Not only that, you can't even back up the no third party narrative by proving these ladies were on the beach by themselves. And then there's more things at the inquest that didn't make any sense to me. If the police couldn't determine the cause of death, how did they determine the identity of the 3 women? Are they just going off the word of the father. Is that what they're doing? Are they not doing any other testings to determine who these women actually are? What makes it even worse at this point for me is the father appearing via a video link. These are your 3 daughters who have mysteriously died in Brighton, an area that you guys are not even overly familiar with. Let's just totally be honest. You guys are from Uxbridge, you're from Luton. So these girls are in Brighton randomly at 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning at a period of time where it's freezing outside. The water is 100% freezing. So again, 3 daughters have mysteriously died at a young age in a location that has to be questionable, because you would ask yourself, why would they be in Brighton? And instead of getting yourself down to the inquest, you done it via a video link. Now, potentially he could have been out of the country, but I still question it. Question that. I question the fact that at this point we still have no friends that have come forward, no work colleagues that have come forward, no manager, no landlords, and still to this day, no pictures, no new pictures whatsoever. Like, we don't have any pictures of these 3 women, just the AI generated picture, still to this day. Make that make sense. All right, cool. So let's switch over here. I want to talk about this lady that we can see on the screen representing the BBC. Firstly, big up Bouncer doing these things, spreading the awareness of what's going on with these 3 sisters as well, because it's disturbing. It doesn't make any sense to anyone. People are looking at this like, how does 3 black women just end up in the water deads with no explanations whatsoever? And it doesn't make any sense, and we're not going to have it. And we're definitely not going to have the media trying to dictate a narrative and make things look a certain way or spread misinformation as they usually do. There's 2 things that I actually want to bring to your attention. Hopefully I can find the other video. And they're both in regards to this lady that you can see on the screen. Let's just start with what she's got to say here first.
There's something really fishy and suspicious going on. The combination of those things, like an AI generated image of the women, and then also a kind of vacuum of information about like why they were there, why they got in the sea, what actually happened, other than the fact that we know that they drowned.
That's the answer then, isn't it? It does.
Okay. So let's pause it right there. Other than the fact that we know that they've drowned. Okay. How do you know that? How do you know that? So she basically said, we don't know anything other the fact that they drowned. Like, we know that they drowned. How do you know that? At this point, 2 bodies were found in the water and 1 body was found on the beach. So we can assume they may have drowned. But based on the facts, because we have to stick to the facts, can't be out here spreading misinformation. The pathologist has told us that it is yet to be ascertained. It is yet to be determined how these 3 ladies died. But still, they're confused about something. Otherwise, they would have easily concluded the inquest on that day. But the main point is that the cause of death hasn't been determined. So we can't say that we know these ladies have drowned. You're spreading misinformation. That's what misinformation is. You're saying it as if it's a fact because these women were found in water. How do you know they weren't killed before they entered the water? Is that because the police have said no third-party involvement? The police have said no third-party involvement, but they still can't explain how the women got into the water. The pathologist is still yet to determine the cause of death after having the bodies for 2 weeks. At some point in this podcast, she more or less says that the police are still investigating. If that's the case, make it make sense why you've ruled out third party.
Yeah,
it does matter because it seeds distrust in the media and in the story.
And in the family and the relatives, because people are then sort of undermining their credibility and saying, well, hang on a second, why have you shared this image? People are then like, well, hang on a second, these are young women in their 30s, why isn't there a photo of them together? Or why aren't there photos of them?
This is the problem, right? We've got people talking about this, putting out information as if it's fact, without doing their own due diligence.
Then there was this other image showing them as adults that looks like a kind of professional shoot. But then it turned out that was an AI generated picture of all 3 of the women. And media outlets ran it. Like the BBC ran this picture in their story because it was distributed by the police. That's the usual process. When someone's killed or people die, the family are able to provide images, photos, and then those will be shared.
Okay, so at that point, the police are the ones that gave that AI generated photo to the media, and it was the family that gave that photo to the police. See, the girl in the middle of that photo as well, ladies and gentlemen, that's been taken from a picture that she was in with Joseph, the dad. It's been taken from it. So where were the other 2 girls? Like, where were the other 2 girls? Like, where did their photos come from? Where did their 2 images come from? What did they look like? Because you would have had to have got their images from somewhere, which means you have their images. You can't generate AI images of someone without having images of them. So where are their images? Like, why can't you show us the images that you generated the AI images from? See, I found one of them, the oldest one with the dad, but where are the other 2? And where are their images? being told they've got no social media platforms, no social media profiles. A 35, 36-year-old, a 32-year-old, and a 31-year-old. Maybe one of them, but not all three of them. That's BS. That is straight up BS. And even if that was the case, their pictures would still be on the internet through their family members, cousins, aunties, uncles, sister. Yeah, sister's got Facebook, right? She's been posting pictures since she's been in Texas. I mean, where's her pictures of her sisters? But this is something that the feds need to look at, obviously. And maybe they are.
Kimberly Online started to post some content alluding to some of the kind of like slightly more unfounded conspiracy theories about the women. She's a black woman and was coming at it from that perspective, like the idea that they'd been killed or there's something fishy. And then another creator called Steph came out and said, actually, it's really possible that these women decided they wanted to have a swim in the sea after they'd been out or whatever, and they drowned, and that really wouldn't be that surprising. And so Kimberly Online's followers then started sending abuse to Stephanie, and then vice versa. Kimberly Online was getting...
Whoa, see, I should just try to flip the narrative. I saw all of this before this lady reported on it, and I told you, I actually brought it to your attention that there were two young content creators clashing online over this situation. But you see how the lady tried to make it look like Kim, the black lady on the screen, her followers attacked the girl in the corner. See, the girl in the corner is the one that started all of this. Let's be totally honest here. I didn't even actually want to touch on this. I only wanted to touch on this because this lady on the BBC podcasting, who's already spread misinformation, telling us about, oh, well, we know they drowned. Well, we don't know they drowned. You're also now saying that it was Kim's followers that attacked this lady that we could see in the bottom left corner on the screen. It was her video. Her video reacting to Kim's concerned video about the women that was found, and rightly so she could be concerned. She wasn't spreading conspiracies. She just spread concern for women that were being found in bodies of water, especially black women. That's all she did. This lady, however, called her out for her concern. She instantly made it look like that Kim was doing something that she wasn't. And off the back of her doing that video, Kim then started to receive a bag of negative comments, DMs, threats. Kim tried to sort it out. In fact, Kim apologized if people interpreted her video that way. And those threats and that clashing still continued thereafter. In my opinion, it was racially motivated, a racial agenda. It's so weird because another content creator jumped on the back of it, tried to back this lady in the corner, and then all of a sudden contradicted herself a few days later by spreading conspiracies about the same case. She actually went out of her way to spread misinformation, information that wasn't true whatsoever. But again, I didn't even want to talk about this. This is not even part of my forte. The whole reason I spoke about this is because we got that lady on the couch spreading misinformation, making it look like it was Kim and her followers that started attacking this lady called Steph, when really and truly it was Steph. She started it. It was a racist agenda, my opinion. The moment I watched her video, she started off by saying, I usually like Kim's videos. I thought to myself, hold on, if you usually like this girl's videos, you will know she carries herself the same way in every single video. Why is it out of all of the videos that she's done, this is the one you have a problem with? Is it because she's sharing a concern about 3 black women that have been found dead in water? Is that why? Or is there another reason why? Maybe you don't care about the other women that have been found dead in water. I don't know. We do. So does Kim. And that's the reason why she made that video. And there was no reason or no need for her to apologize. She done that because she's a good woman. Do you know what I'm saying? Doing good things. So big her up. Few questionable things to still talk about in regards to the 3 sisters being found on that beach dead. Doesn't make any sense to me. Doesn't make any sense to thousands of other people. We're going to be here until we get a clear understanding of what's actually happened. Hopefully, the local authorities in Brighton, the Sussex police, can update us, give us some proof of life before they were in that water. You know, them getting out of a car, them walking down the beachfront, them at the shop, them doing something. Why is this one of the only cases out of all of the mysterious missing people, or all of the mysterious deaths that have happened, why is this the only one that they're not providing any evidence for? Why? That doesn't make any sense. Anyway, I need to know what you guys are thinking in the comment section down below. Leave all your thoughts and comments down there. Don't hesitate. Just dive in there. Let me know what you're thinking right about now. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if we're newly watching, and do share these videos as well. Turn your notification bells on so you don't miss out on future videos. We've got plenty more uploading, so don't go anywhere. I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one.